The Knicks season opener against the Celtics is tonight. And guys, I cannot wait. We've been waiting all offseason for this moment. And tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to see if the New York Knicks have what it takes to take down probably one of the best teams in the league in the Boston Celtics. And according to one NBA insider, even though we're going to see a lot of things from Tom Thibodeau, one thing we may see, maybe not this first game, but sometime down the line during this season, is potentially RJ Barrett coming off of the bench. We're going to break down that report and let you know exactly what he means. We're also going to look into what Tom Thibodeau recently stated about RJ Barrett as he was defending him among criticism that he was hearing among the media. We're going to break down all of that and so much more today. Let's get started. RJ Barrett, could he potentially come off the bench? You know, the funny thing about this is, before anybody mentioned this, I actually did a video about this a few weeks ago, saying that potentially RJ Barrett might come off the bench. And the only reason I said that is because I remember Tom Thibodeau playing him a lot with the reserves last year and him leading that unit of reserves. He did start, but a lot of times he would open up the second quarter with the reserves. And I thought that worked for RJ Barrett for his game because he had the ball in his hands, which is supporting his game, and then he was aggressive with the ball, which is absolutely what RJ Barrett needs to do each and every time he has that ball in his hand. That's just my opinion in it. And I think that Tom Thibodeau would agree because we saw that a lot last season. So that's why I did a video about it. And now it's funny because NBA insider and also NBA writer for the New York Post, Stefan Bondy, actually reported the following about RJ Barrett in terms of his predictions for the regular season and the New York Knicks. According to Stefan Bondy, he states that RJ Barrett to the bench, he can see it happening this year. Barrett makes sense with the second unit. It would mean less minutes, but it can help unlock Quentin Grimes, who has demonstrated promise and needs more opportunities with the ball. He continues by stating the following. RJ Barrett moving to the bench this season. The Knicks certainly didn't use a third overall pick and a near max extension for a reserve, but Barrett makes sense with the second unit. Shout out to Stefan Bondy from the New York Post, basically echoing my sentiments and stating what I said a few weeks ago. I thought RJ Barrett looked good with the reserves. Now don't kill me, guys. I'm not saying he should come off the bench. That's not what I'm saying. Because honestly, if you take RJ Barrett and you take him out of the starting unit, you lose size in the starting unit. RJ Barrett is one of the taller players in the starting unit. He may be slow, but honestly, he has a good wingspan. For a defender, if and when he plays defense, and he can play it well, we've seen him do that before. If he can get back to that level of defense with that wingspan, I think he could be very good for the Knicks. We just have to see him get back there. So I don't think, and I'm not in favor, honestly, of RJ Barrett going to the bench, but I understand why people would say it because Bondy said it as well too just now. When he's playing with the reserves, he looks better. Tom Thibodeau is already comfortable doing that. We've seen it. I already said that he looks better with the reserves because he's allowed to play his game more. But if he could do that with the starters, we would not be talking about this right now. It wouldn't even be a conversation. That's what needs to change this year with RJ Barrett. He needs to be the second right behind Brunson. And if that can happen, we won't talk about RJ Barrett and the reserves and the bench. We'll talk about, wow, RJ Barrett is looking like an all-star. If he can play more to his game. If he can't and goes in the corner and shoots all those threes and misses 6 of them and takes 8 of them, that's going to be a problem. And we know that because we saw it last year. And the thing is, we do not want to repeat the mistakes from last year. You want to take the success away from last year. And you want to be able to replicate that and push it to another level. But you do not want to repeat the same mistakes. You want to get better from it. That's why the continuity and the chemistry is so important for this team. I know it's that buzz and key word for the Knicks this year, but honestly, it's the only thing they have to bank on because they didn't make legitimate updates to the roster. And we have to talk about that, and we have to acknowledge that. It's also interesting that Bondi noted that in order for Quentin Grimes to grow, he's going to need more opportunity. And in order for him to get more opportunity, he wants RJ Barrett to go ahead and take a seat behind Quentin Grimes and allow Grimes to get more minutes. Now, that personally for me is a step in the wrong direction. I like Grimes and I think he can thrive. But honestly, I would put Grimes on the bench because I think he could adopt an Emmanuel Quickly type role and he could grow in that type of role and potentially grow into a starter that way. That's what I want to see Quentin Grimes do. I would not want to sacrifice RJ Barrett and his minutes for Quentin Grimes to get more opportunity and more minutes. Because in my opinion, that doesn't make sense. RJ Barrett is 23 years old in his 5th year, and he needs to take that step this year. If he doesn't, I don't think he'll be on the New York Knicks next year to prove that he can do it again. Because I think you might be traded in the offseason for another star player. So maybe a lot of Knicks fans who might hope and want Quentin Grimes to take more opportunities with the Knicks, they might get their wish if and when RJ Barrett is traded. I just don't see that happening right now, and I definitely don't see RJ Barrett being benched so that way Quentin Grimes can get more minutes or opportunity, because I don't even think that would be the case or happen. I think Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle would just take even more opportunity if that happened, and that's just my personal opinion on the matter. But RJ Barrett coming off the bench, it does make sense in some ways. You can explain it to me, and I can definitely understand why you would make that point. But it makes more sense, in my opinion, to make him a starter, see what he can do this year, and see how far he can push the starting unit with his game, especially if Tom Thibodeau is creating and allowing him to play more of his game. If Tom Thibodeau is creating more plays for RJ Barrett, allowing him to play more of his game, then I think RJ Barrett can succeed even more with the starters. It's going to be a lot of that this year that I'm going to be looking at from RJ. So I hope he can impress me, impress the fans, and also make sure that we all know that RJ Barrett should not be part of trade rumors. He can shut all of that down this year with a successful season. Really, it's on RJ Barrett and his shoulders alone. Let's see what RJ Barrett can do this year, because I honestly cannot wait to see New York basketball again tonight when the Knicks take on the Celtics. RJ Barrett's going to be a big proponent of that. And oh my goodness, basketball is back. Are you guys just as hype as I am? Because I am hype. Tom Thibodeau actually praised RJ Barrett recently. So moving with this RJ Barrett thing, I know we just talked about him coming off the bench. I know what a lot of people were talking about. And actually, I just want to mention that even though Steph Bondi mentioned this, a lot of people share that criticism of RJ Barrett about his game, about the fact he's a number 3 overall pick. He's not doing what he's doing. Maybe he should go to the bench, get that demotion, and another player from the New York Knicks should take that other spot, take his spot really, and take those minutes that he has. That's a lot of the consensus right now, not only among Bondi, but a lot of other people. And people around the media have written about it. We've seen stories about it. Bleacher Report has covered that to a high degree this offseason. But Tom Thibodeau, who's definitely heard a lot of that, gave a response in regards to RJ Barrett and all that criticism that he hears about him, being a 3rd overall pick, what he's supposed to be, what he's supposed to do, all his contemporaries in the draft like Zion and Ja. And this is what he said about RJ Barrett. Shout out to Steve Popper of Newsday for reporting the following. Tom Thibodeau stated, "He's steady. That's who he is. The thing I love about RJ is that he never gets too high or too low. He's the same guy every day." Tom Thibodeau loves him, man. Tom Thibodeau just basically said RJ Barrett is a Thibs guy. And why? Because no matter how successful he is, no matter how terrible he is never going to allow that to be him. He is never going to allow that to become him, soak in that emotion or whatever the case may be. He is going to be locked in and focused on getting better, playing his game, and making sure that he is locked in for the next game and he doesn't have another repeat performance. And I think that's all you can ask from RJ Barrett. That and consistency. RJ, I need to see your game impact the New York Knicks positively, consistently, each and every game this season, because that's what it's going to take for those people to get off your back, for you to stop being those trade reports, those trade rumors, and for people to start acknowledging the talent you are and the talent that you have. But until you can do that, they're not going to let up. And while I'm happy to hear that Tom Thibodeau acknowledges your work ethic and is praising you, it is still on you to do what you got to do this season. You cannot have another slow start. That cannot define your legacy as an NBA player. And Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff have to be able to help you. They have to be able to run plays for you and run those type of offensive schemes for you. So I hope the coaching staff has also been working and upgrading this offseason as well too. Because honestly, they need to do that. Especially the leader of that staff, Tom Thibodeau himself. So let's see what Tom Thibodeau gives us. And let's see what happens with the RJ Barrett situation. Will he come off the bench this season? Will he thrive and give us the best RJ Barrett year this season? It's really anybody's guess. Me personally, I want RJ Barrett to have a breakout year this year, prove the doubters wrong, and showcase why he should never ever be in trade rumors again with the New York Knicks. That's just my opinion on it, but who knows what's going to happen. What about you guys? What do you think RJ Barrett's going to be this year? Do you think RJ Barrett is eventually going to come off the bench? Do you want that? Or do you think RJ Barrett's going to be traded at some point? Or do you believe in RJ Barrett? Do you think this is his year? Do you think that RJ Barrett should be the one playing more minutes than Grimes? Let me know in the comments, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.